The first weekend of May still gave us horse racing to cheer for. The Arkansas Derby was split into two divisions for the second time. Earlier on CBS Sports HQ, our horse racing expert Jean Menez gave you the insight you needed on which horse to bet in Division 1.
Charlatan is the horse to beat here. You know, not only is he the best horse in the race, but he also has the tactical advantage, going with the speed, going gate to wire. I don't see any scenario in which he loses.
Jean was spot on. Charlatan was off to a great start and took the lead early. He's out in front in light blue, coming around the bend, leading by 2 lengths from Basin. Charlatan then led by 3 lengths at the end. Basin just not good enough to catch up. Charlatan pulling away wins the Arkansas Derby with ease. Charlatan inching closer to a berth in the Kentucky Derby. Let's show you the Division 1 results. Charlatan, your winner, second place coming in Basin. Your third place winner, Gouverneur Morris. Second division of the Arkansas Derby, Wells Bayou beat the gate and was off to a hot start with the lead. Around the far turn, it got close. Nadal started to get ahead from Wells Bayou. Nadal makes his move and pulls his head in front, while Bayou tries to battle back. Nadal pulling away and gets 2 lengths in front. It is the undefeated Nadal who wins the second division. He won by 2.5 lengths. Let's take a look at the Division 2 results. We told you Nadal, your winner, coming in second place, King Guillermo, and third place, Finnick the Fierce. We welcome in our horse gambling experts, Tim Doyle and Jean Menez. Guys, it felt good having something to root for, some live competition. Let's start in Division 1. Jean, you nailed Charlatan, and what did you make of him winning in convincing fashion at that?
Well, it was impressive fashion, but you know what? He was supposed to win that way, and he did win that way. Went straight to the front. Everybody picked it except Tim. I think Tim was expecting him to break slowly out of the gate. But Charlatan went straight to the front, went gate to wire, uncontested. I still don't know about his ability to get 1.25 miles in the Kentucky Derby, though, because his last 1/8 of a mile today was in a little shade over 13 seconds. And you really kind of want to be under 13 seconds in that last 1/8 of a mile, stretching out to the 1.25 mile Kentucky Derby. Of course, we still have 4 months to go, but he looks really good.
Yeah, I think he caught a soft field, and yes, I did pick against him, hoping that maybe he gets left and maybe he gets behind horses. Well, that didn't happen at all. He ended up getting an easy lead, and once he was able to kind of establish his stride, I was most impressed with a 23-second third quarter. He went 109, which is a really legit fraction. It's hard to gauge, Joe. I don't think the competition was up to snuff. I think the second division was a little bit tougher, but the pace set up for him, and he absolutely jogged.
Let's head to Division 2. The favorite Nadal got off to a slow start, but pulled away to cross the finish line first and remains undefeated. Tim, what's it out to you as Nadal won that second race?
Well, that race got real interesting real fast. When Wells Bayou got out there and cleared the lead, it was like, okay, Nadal, what do you got now? Are you going to be able to pass horses? Not only did he overtake Wells Bayou turning for home, then you had Guillermo coming on his side. He had other closers that he had to kind of fight with. This horse had to work. He was the more impressive of the Bob Baffert horses. Now, Baffert goes 2 for 2. Joel Rosario's winning every race down there at Oaklawn, the jockey is. But I thought this horse really was tested. I think this field was better. I thought Nadal's performance wasn't much more impressive, but it was impressive.
Tim's absolutely right. Nadal was the more impressive Baffert horse today. He showed an ability to sit just off Wells Bayou, which is something that Charlatan has not done. And then he was able to power past and finish quickly. His last 1/8 of a mile was under 13 seconds. And his time was faster than Charlatan's time by just a shade. I like Nadal better going in 1.25 miles in the Kentucky Derby. And as Tim said, you know, it was a much stronger field. He was tested much more than Charlatan was, and I like him going forward. But I tell you what, the best Baffert horse right now might be Authentic. he's sitting back in the barn in Santa Anita, and we don't know when he's going to show up again, but I'm ready to see him.
Well, there were 7 Arkansas Derby runners that went on to win that year's Kentucky Derby. Tim, do you see any of the horses we watched Saturday night make a run for the Roses?
Well, it'd be really interesting because if Charlatan's pressured, who's going to be able to pass horses? Even though King Guillermo didn't win this race and maybe got a favorable pace scenario, I always like horses that can pass other horses. Like, it's hard to kind of script how a race is going to play out, but I think that the one that really jumped off the page was Nadal because he was able to kind of relax and rate. See, all these horses are fast. We all know that as far as getting to the lead, improving themselves on the engine. But the fact that he was able to wait, go, and then withstand the flourish down the stretch, this horse is going to take a lot of money. But this right now, Gene, this seems like a really deep 3-year-old field.
It really is, Tim, and you're right. If there is a horse to come out of today that will win the Kentucky Derby, I think it would be Nadal. I think Charlatan, he has distance limitations. He's a son of Speightstown, who was a sprinter. And so Nadal is a blame horse. So I think he's bred more for the distance. And he showed today that he doesn't need the lead, that he can win just outside of the leader. So if it's going to be anybody, it might be Nadal. But you know what? I'm going to be looking at someone else probably 4 months and 3 days from now.
Gene, it was an impressive showing for Bob Baffert's horses here. How impressive of a trainer is he? What does this say about what he's able to do?
I mean, he's amazing, and Oaklawn Park is like Santa Anita East. You know, he brings his horses to Arkansas, and he basically owns the place. I hope he has a cabin there in Hot Springs. Nadal, Charlatan, those 2 horses, and you know, he won the Arkansas Derby before with Bodemeister in 2010 and American Pharoah in 2015. He always shows up at Arkansas with a loaded hand, and the trainers ought to be thankful that there are no more Arkansas Derbies. There's not a Division III to be raced tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like Bob Baffert and 3-year-olds just go so well together. If you own a 2-year-old, maybe Wesley Ward is your guy. Sometimes Wesley gets you out of the gate. But if you got a 3-year-old or you got a horse that you believe could win the Kentucky Derby, why mess around? Go to the white-haired fellow. He's got to put some kind of dye in that, right? It's like the Bobby Crimmins dye. Like, you almost have to dye. It's like Snow White. It's such a flowing locks that he has. He's been outstanding. He's won a bunch of Triple Crown races. As far as creme de la creme of 3-year-old trainers, you can maybe make a case for Todd Pletcher. But the best of the best, the GOAT of this generation is Bob Baffert.
We know the Kentucky Derby was moved to early September. Tim, what do you expect it to be like without fans?
Sad. Really sad, because you're talking about over 100,000 people there, and there are so many different ways to do the Derby. If you haven't done the Kentucky Derby, you almost have to go multiple times, because you could do it where you're wearing shorts and in the infield and getting all messy, or then you could do it where you get dressed up. And Sheree, I can imagine you would have like your nice hat on and your money dress. Like, there's so many different ways you could do the Derby, and it's such an experience. As far as not having fans there, yeah, it's sad, but I will say this. Horse racing over the last 6 weeks has been a savior for me. I make a joke about as far as getting away from my family and diving into the horses, but we have seen record handles at the racetracks that are running in Oklahoma, Los Alamitos, Oaklawn, Gulfstream. Like, since they're still racing, we've seen pools of $5 million in the late pick 5 at Fonner Park. I can run around Fonner Park in like 12 seconds, Gene. So I actually like the big fields, the big pools. We've seen some massive payouts, and someone up here made a little bit of a score yesterday at the pick 5 at Oaklawn.
Yeah, Sherry, you know, Kentucky Derby Day annually is my favorite day of the year, more than my birthday, more than Christmas, more than any other holiday. I look forward to the Kentucky Derby more than any day of the year. And I don't know what that says about me. Maybe just it says that I'm a huge fan of the Kentucky Derby. And it would be a shame if that happens and if fans are not allowed to attend in September, more than Christmas, more than any other holiday. I look forward to the Kentucky Derby more than any day of the year. And I don't know what that says about me. Maybe just it says that I'm a huge fan of the Kentucky Derby. And it would be a shame if that happens and if fans are not allowed to attend in September. But you know, but there are bigger things, obviously, than packing 150,000 people into Churchill Downs. You know, we have to look out for everyone's safety. And so if that's what's needed to do, then I think the people of Louisville and horse racing fans around the country will be more than happy to do that. And I tell you what, Tim's right. You know, the wagering that's been going on at Oaklawn Park, Gulfstream, Wilmart, Rogers Downs, Fauner Park has been amazing during this time. And I think you'll see that. I think you'll see the people turn out on September 5th if that happens.
Gene, I'm holding the last clip hostage on you. I'm going to blackmail you with that clip because you said the Kentucky Derby is the best day of the year. If you ever get in a relationship, my friend, it may become the second best day of the year if you want to have some longevity in that relationship.
Oh, my wife already knows that. As a matter of fact, my bachelor party was at the Kentucky Derby 1 week before the wedding. So she already knows that.
You married an angel. We love it. Thank you so much, guys, for the insight. Coming up, the UFC 249 countdown is on.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.